It's just when you kill 61,000 zombies, you find a few katanas. And you go, that seems unreasonably high or something like that. Just think about it this way. If you were to play the game and you got just about a year and a month in, how many katanas would you typically find in that run? Two, three-ish? And I have 16 times as many zombies. You can do the math and kind of figure that out from there. I'm just coming to here real fast before we go anywhere to see if it mentions the air activity detected or other weather event I need to be mindful of. That'd be a nope. So you should be good to go. How's the generator doing? That's fine. Go open our door. And I'll run to that because no reason not to. We're going to be sitting in our car for the whole drive back, so it's not like I don't have time to recover my stamina. I mean, I guess recover my endurance. I'm never going to get used to them having called what every single game I've ever known is called stamina endurance. But it is what it is. My brain will just forever want to call it stamina. Alright, we saw a bunch of zombies on the south end of town. That's just because that's where we did our last helicopter event. And we do have the helicopter set to sometimes, which is about 2 to 3 helicopters per month. The last time we were in our base when it said the helicopter is coming, it's like, alright, well, we've cleared this whole area. Let's try to get to Rosewood to take advantage of it, and we didn't get very far. Like, the helicopter showed up almost immediately. We just went ahead and cleared out whatever showed up down here. It didn't seem, like, at first we're like, oh, there's, like, no one showing up. This is a waste of a helicopter event, because I always do predictions for them. But then after, I think it did, like, a total of 4 passes. Like, pass 3, I'm like, alright, no, we actually have a decent number of zombies here. Not the worst we had seen by a stretch. Because, like, I mean, I stayed and fought it and everything, which we've had some that was like, no, this is too much, we gotta go. But, yeah. Yeah, so after we left, some zombies did start to, show up. Let's see. Dr. Bubble says, can you plumb the toilet the same way you can plumb a sink with rain collectors? I believe so, yes. I believe you can plumb toilets and bathtubs. If I'm not mistaken, you can make a fully functional bathroom. At some point, I need to grab a toilet, because you may not have noticed it, but behind the stairwell, I actually have, like, a teeny tiny little room there. And the intention is for that to be, like, a bathroom. Dr. Bubbles, they 100% do have a pooping mod. Oh right, you can also plumb a washer. And I want to say if you have power, you can actually use it to clean your clothes. Hey, Kitla, how's it going? I mean, actually, it just came up within, like, the last 2-3 minutes. It was an unexpected change in conversation. Not a bad one or anything. You know, normalize talking about these kind of things. We'd all be a little bit healthier if we would normalize talking about these things and going, hey, you know, I've been having stuff, should I worry about that? And people go, hey, you know, just so you know, maybe you could, words. You should go see someone about that. Like, that ain't normal. And Kit says, it's going good now that the work is over. Three water leaks today. Oof. Urban Gorilla says duty. Oh yeah, no, I've seen Royal with Cheese. He had been doing a super long run to get to 100,000 zombies. 100,000 zombies killed. And then shortly after he like wrapped up that run, because he hadn't done, because he did that, I think it was either like vanilla, I think it was full on vanilla, if not super close to vanilla. And then after that, he went and was like, okay, like I haven't been able to play like any mods for a long time because I've been doing this vanilla run for a long time. So he just went all in on mods, and yeah, he was getting like mods that you could dress up like Shrek, and that there was, you know, pooping mechanics, like just all these outrageous mods out there. And he had like a couple of times so he was doing stuff that the mods just didn't work, you know, because of how much modding he was doing. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Dr. Bo says, if colonoscopies are normal, I think there is no issue. Yeah, one of the problems we run into is, like, at least here in the US, you don't worry about doing stuff like colonoscopies until, like, as a guy, you don't usually get them until 40 unless you have health problems. But we've seen, like, a lot of increase in problems both in, oral concerns as well as in, colon problems at much younger ages, so it is one of those things that's like maybe we should allow for these to be younger. Let's see. Can you play the guitar, or do you need a mod for that? You would need a mod for that. The only playing of the guitar you can do right now is smashing a guitar over a zombie's head. And for the record, guitars and the musical instruments in general are some of the worst weapons in the game, because they have the attack speed of the wood axe and the sledgehammer with less damage. So it is one of those ones you hit the first zombie, and by the time you recover your swing, the other zombies just grabbed you. And thank you for the follow, Urban Gorilla 56, welcome to stream, and thank you for the follow, it's Gina, welcome to stream. Okay. Oh, you actually ended up here from Royal Cheese's stream? Yeah, no, it happens a lot. Yep, that's pretty common. We share a lot of people between our streams. That happens a lot of the Project Zomboid streamers. You have a lot of people who are, like, you know, there are people who are, you know, from like a Lawful Falafel stream. I've got a bunch of people in common with him. The Hot Toddy, or the Not So Hot Toddy. We've got a bunch of people between both streams. Royale with Cheese, DeJax, Mr. Nice Gamer 88. Makes sense. We're all playing kind of the same game. Yeah, and that's exactly the same. Like, we have almost exactly the opposite schedule, so, like, there have been times that we raid each other. Usually he wraps up before I start, so it's only when either he goes long or I start early that we end up being able to raid the other way, but yeah. So I use a music player called Pretzel that's DMCA free, so I can play music on Twitch without concerns about getting slapped for it. And this is their lo-fi channel on that. Which, for the record, I am a Pretzel affiliate. That's been a fairly recent thing. I was using Pretzel, have been using Pretzel on this channel since I started streaming, but it's only been this past month-ish that I became affiliate. And all that means is, if you were to go to the link that I have below, if you were to go to sign up for Pretzel, then I'd get a kickback. That said, you know, that's just saying it in the event you're looking for music for your stream, it's something to consider. There are a number of solutions and all that. Yeah, DMCA does love to slap, no question about that. Give me a moment. Just had someone reach out and want to say something. What's your code? What do you mean, what's my code? Sorry, not following. If you're looking for, the pretzel thing, if you use the link at the bottom, it has a, it has, like, my, like, that it came from my stream in there in the URL. If there's a code, then that's, yeah. Yeah. So, the music playlist that you hear on the channel, usually that's the lo-fi is the most common one. I also sometimes do, there's a playlist called Chill. On the rare occasion, I'll bounce to stuff like chill piano, chill guitar, and all that. But, I usually try and stick in those range. Like, I actually like a lot of other genres of music, but they are less of a fit of, what we're going for with the stream. It's like, I like, you know, electro swing, all that. Because I could listen to piano 24/7, especially jazz piano. Yeah, they have a chill piano thing. That's good. And they also have, like, a chill jazz that has a lot of piano, though it does also have, like, saxophone and all that. Yeah, I've listened, like, I mean, stuff like punk rock and alt rock and all those were real big as I was growing up, so there's lots of stuff I like from that. It's just pretty much the opposite of the chill vibe the channel goes for. But I mentioned, like, one of the things I'll do is when I'm cooking, I'll listen to techno swing, because it just, I don't know, it feels like a good thing to listen to while, not techno swing, electro swing. I'll listen to that while I'm cooking and all that. Those all tend to be higher energy than I aim for on the channel. I know a lot of people on the channel, like, my primary audience is usually people who are, like, either trying to wind down after work or, you know, keep chills, so, like, that whatever their, you know, anxieties are, like, keep those kind of in their place, keep good headspace, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who tune in the channel that literally they're dealing with stuff like insomnia, so what they'll do is turn on the channel, just kind of vibe till they start feeling a little lethargic and all that, and then go to sleep. So very much it fits that. Dr. Bubbles, I usually set my alarms to metal music, so when I wake up panicking. I mean... Yeah, Urban Gorilla says, yeah, I put on streams to sleep. Yep. And, like, very specifically, I have this channel with that, you know, that type of audience in mind. People who just, they're not looking for anything high intensity. They're not looking for anything to, like, get amped up and, you know, bounce around and all that. Just kind of chill. That's the reason we play games like Project Zomboid, which sure, you're fighting zombies and all that, but if you're looking, like, you walk around, do all that. Senor Cookie says, I have fallen to sleep to your stream several times. Yeah, it is those things. It sounds terrible. It's like, your stream puts people to sleep. It's like, yes, but that's intended? Like, it's not in the bad, like, it's boring way. It's just very chill. I know I have, like, I've been told a lot of times I have a bit of a soothing voice, which is actually part of the decision to make the channel this way. It's like, alright, well, I've got a soothing voice. This is a place that would actually perform well. Versus, like, if I was trying to, like, if my channel was, like, announce esports. I do not have a good voice for announcing esports. I have a good voice for, like, reading audiobooks, or a good voice for, you know, if you were to do, like, meditation stuff. I've got a good voice for, like, meditation stuff. I mean, I could, but it would require me to project myself in a way that isn't the way my voice naturally is, which is fine. You have to do that in a lot of stuff. Like, when I go and I teach, and when I go and I do, like, my conference talks, that's stepping outside the range that is my voice's natural cadence and everything. Because usually conference talks, like, they'll go, you got 30, like, we got the 30-minute block. All right, well, this talk normally takes 45 minutes. Well, that's unfortunate. You got a 30-minute block. It's like, all right, I will adjust what I'm talking about and figure out how it works. And Dr. Bubble says, nah, after a long day of work, I don't want to listen to rock or more aggressive genre. So the vibes and the music gives more welcome. Yeah, and I've had the same thing. Like when I was doing when I was doing like very menial work, after a long day of work, yeah, I would probably jam out to something much more high energy because my brain was bored to tears, even though my body was exhausted. But then when it came to doing stuff like what, a lot of people call thought work or creative work or whatever it is, stuff like software dev where you're heavily concentrating for large portions of your day. Your brain is frazzled by the time you're wrapped up with your day. Like your brain just like, I just want something I don't need to focus on at all. Like, I don't want lyrics. I don't want like a catchy high not chorus. What's the word for it? I'm not a music expert. Not melody. It's very similar to melody. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go with melody even though it's technically incorrect. Like a really jumpy energy. I mean, BPM would be the thing that leads to it. I was looking for a different word, but yeah. But yeah, so you're not looking for that like high energy, bubbly, bouncy, whatever. Like that music's good, but when your brain is like, I just need a break. Just having stuff like lo-fi or chill stuff. Because even funny, I did like there's a channel on the Pretzel called Chill EDM, and I'm like, okay, or no, was that or chill bass? It's one of the two. I'm like, okay, I don't know where the chill word came into this because while I'm enjoying this music, it would certainly not be something I would describe as chill. Like the energy was entirely too high to be called chill. Like it was good. It's just the chill was a misnomer. Is there a dark humor horror ambience channel? You know? I do not know. I mean, they won't call it like dark humor, but let's see. We've got alternative like there's ambient, but you're looking more for like a spooky skeletons kind of thing. Like Halloween music. Industrial jazz, hype bangers, love bug, meditation, melodic bass, polka, punk, R&B, reggae, rock, ska, trance, traditional Latin, the elevator. They have a spooky channel. They do have it's got 600 something tracks, 22 hours. Spooky is what it's called. Like Halloweeny music. I was actually like, what's the I'm gonna do it. Hang on. We're gonna mess with their music. I'll change it if it's lame. They've got this one called The Elevator. And I'm going, okay. You have 703 tracks, 31 hours called The Elevator. What is The Elevator? Okay. I don't know I would call this The Elevator, but it's something. It's not bad. But I would call this like theme park background music. Like this is the music if you're at, Hollywood Studios Disney or you're in the backlot part of Universal, like that themed area. This is the kind of like ambience music I would expect. We'll give this playlist a little while and then we'll switch back to the lo-fi. If this like really bothers someone, let me know. I'm finding it incredibly amusing. Genuinely, I could actually see this being something we play on the channel from time to time. Probably not as like a main one. We'll probably stick to the lo-fi and chill. But I could see this being the one we like bring out of left field every once in a while. Oh god, the mute. So what you don't realize is this is what she's listening to in her car right now. So just, that's the headcanon now, is that this is Ellen Ennis's, like, go-to music. Brooke says, hey, I dropped the katana spreadsheet I made over the weekend on Discord. Awesome! Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing that. For those not aware, Burke was taking notes of each time we got a katana, like how many kills we got. And this isn't something like, you know, I asked Burke to do this or anything. Like, Burke was just doing this. But yeah, so that's really cool. I'm absolutely going to want to check that out. Maybe what I'll do is the next time I have, like, a stretch break, I'll take a quick 2-second peek at it. Then I'll check it out definitely, like, after stream or... This is elevator music? No, the this channel has its own Discord. If you do !Discord, or if you look on the down there, if you're on that, there's a Discord icon you can click on. I like how this is like sort of Latin music, but not. Like, it's slightly inspired, but not quite there. If you're doing for the Discord, just do !Discord and I'll post the link. Because otherwise, if you try and post the link itself, I like have to permit you into a bunch of stuff. But if you just do !Discord, there you go. I probably should get rid of the pardon art dust. It's a work in progress. I mean, it'll forever be a work in progress, but it's not like it does have structure to it now. Versus when I first made that command, it was like nothing there. I have fairly regularly people just drop in, they'll be like ooh woo, or there's been a few ones where they'll be like !skills, and I'm like, it's like, do you want me to write out all of my skills in text? Because actually in Project Zomboid that'd probably be pretty annoying to read. I do think after this track I probably will switch back to the lo-fi. Because like the trumpet's probably not what people need to sleep. Or relax or whatever, but it is fun music. I'm like, this is actually, I could totally see using this music for different things. Have I ever played on any trading community servers yet? Any trading community servers yet for Project Zomboid? Have you ever played any trading community servers yet? Oh, you're talking about... I don't know what you're talking about, actually. I'm sorry, Dr. Bubbles. I'm assuming my lack of knowledge of what it is its own answer within itself. But yeah, I'm not familiar. I was like, we're gonna change the music, and it's like the next track, like, nah, I'd put this as chill. I wouldn't put this as elevator music, the tracks I've been hearing. This is I would put as I'm on hold trying to call technical support kind of music. Like that's the kind of music I'm hearing here. Oh, I was on the Deep Fried Brains, the very first multiplayer server they did, the one of the 3-hour days. But it was really difficult to really have any trade happening, because there was so many very... Like, there's myself, there's Lamprey, there's so many other really, really good Project Zomboid players that are, like, veterans to the game, that you couldn't get half of the stuff, because just... you would wipe out the zombie population. Like, it got to the point, if we were in West Point, and I was, like, having to go half across the town to find a pack of zombies. So I had worked up tailoring, and I wasn't really trading my services. I was just... people come up and be like, hey, your gear's not patched up. If you want patched up, let me know, and I'll get you, you know... I'll get you all set up. Demon Sights, can confirm this is literally hold music for vendors. I call frequently. Yeah, it was like listening to music, I'm like, man, this is like calling Dell back in the day. That's what this sounds like. Okay, I do think I'm gonna switch back to our lo-fi. That's been fun music. I always, when you have world music, that's always those ones I'm like, okay, is it just like something like all over the place? But like that's fun music. I think it's a different vibe though. Like I could see jokingly bring that up. There's actually one thing, and it's a shame. So this is one of the things I get a little salty about with the Streamlabs. So they have all these apps you can install with them. Streamlabs OBS that aren't available for regular OBS, at least not that I've been able to find. So they have things like people can request music for bits, for example, using and it does wire in with pretzels with Streamlabs OBS. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like if someone had a track that they liked, you could do it. I would have to be very careful about that though, because the vibe I'm going for, I could see people requesting like heavy metal just to troll. And, you know, I don't care about a handful of bits that much, let alone to, you know, just make the channel a terrible experience for everyone else so someone can troll would be something I wouldn't want to do. But yeah, Dr. says, most of the servers I spawn into, you either get robbed or jump in 10 minutes or have been heavily looted. Yeah, I won't... I've said this before. I won't play on a PvP server in Project Zomboid. To me, Project Zomboid was not designed with PvP in mind. Like, death is far too punishing. The only way I would do, like, PvP Project Zomboid, for example, is if very specifically it was, you know, this server is Battle Royale or Hunger Games or whatever it is. Like, you're going into the server, your purpose is to kill the other players. That would be the only way I'd do it. The stuff that's like very Rust-esque or whatever, where it's like you can have, you know, people who can work together or not work together, that kind of stuff. That I'm not feeling. There's just too much, like, all it takes is just one person being trolly to like ruin that experience. You could have an executive decision rule where chat decides if they want to change her via poll. Yeah, the problem is, so say you're the person who is trying to go to sleep, like you're dealing with insomnia, you got the stream up, you know, it's playing its chill music, it's got me doing my banter with, you know, my soothing voice, all that kind of stuff. And then just in the middle of it, some like screaming heavy metal just pops up. And sure, we have the poll, and like 30 seconds later, the song's yanked down or whatever. It switches. You know, we've already taken the person who is 90% of the way to sleep, and now they're at full alert because their room just filled up with heavy metal. I hope... Goldero says, I hope they have this certain location designed for PvP. Like, Controps might be different where? Or the controls might be different or somewhat? Yeah, it might, like, I could see them doing stuff with PvP. It's where the game is at right now. I don't think the PvP is necessarily in great shape. Dean says, that's why I can't play games like Rust. I don't have enough playtime to get situated. I mean, my big problem with Rust, and I've said this on stream before, and I know they made changes, but I haven't played in so many years, I couldn't tell you about them. But, my biggest issue was you'd play, and you could play, like, all day, get yourself a decent little base set up, it'd have pretty good defenses for it, and then you'd go to sleep, and you'd come back and every single door was missing from your base, half your walls had been blown up, all your stuff was gone, and it basically meant you could not sleep. You couldn't sleep. Unless you had a server that, you know, you played during the window was up and then the server would shut down for the night kind of thing, but almost no servers did that. And they understand they've gotten servers that are designed so that when the players aren't on, that their bases can't be destroyed, and you know, various other things. There's certain windows in which people can PvP and that. But like, it's, you know, and those are probably fun and all that, but it's just like, okay, but fundamentally the game design is counter to what I want to do. Like, that'd be the same problem that Project Zomboid would run into, is if you had a server running 24/7 that, you know, people could do what they want. That'd be a thing. And I understand with Project Zomboid we have the idea of the safe houses and all that kind of stuff, which very much protects against that. But in Project Zomboid, the stuff in your house is not the important thing. Like, this skill bar is the important thing, because these take forever to build up. Getting yourself a generator is just picking it up and dragging it home. Like, that's not a big deal. Yeah, and also, right, too many griefers. So if you were to play on a multiplayer server, I've said a number of times, I'm not against playing with other people on servers and that. Like I said, I did go on the Deep Fried Brain server, so you did have a bunch of streamers on there. You also had, you know, people who subscribe to Jax's channel. I've already said a couple times I have zero intentions of running a server of my own. It's just not something that has any interest to me in doing. I don't want to deal with the admin. Like, and I don't want to have to deal with, you know, like one person gets upset because another person trolled them or whatever, and then having to go through like server logs and figuring out who did what, who said what, that kind of stuff to, you know, is their claim actually got merit and all that, and if so, then yeah, kick the person off the server. Or is it just two people, like, who are playing legitimately and, you know, neither was particularly meaning to do wrong and one just got upset by the outcome, like, whatever. That's one. Yeah, and let's see, Brain Explode said, "That's my concern with the new PC edition. Being sniped by an NPC who doesn't care about noise would really suck." Yeah, Brain Explodes, I've said before that, generally speaking, I have a lot of confidence in the devs for Project Zomboid. They have done extremely well on their decisions so far. At the same time, the NPC thing does concern me, as well as the wild animals. Like, the domesticated animals and all that, no, sounds good. Cool. But, like, going out and running into a bear, for example, or something, it's like, hang on. You know, hold up. Me, like, sitting here with a pipe wrench, and then, you know, some brown or black bear comes booking out of the woods. I'm not sure that's the game I want this to be. Because, one, I don't think it'd be realistic if my character's, you know, running around with a pipe wrench, that I'm going to see some bear stroll up and I'm going to take down a, you know, some grizzly bear with a pipe wrench. I mean, realistically, like black bear, brown bear. I actually don't know what bears are in Kentucky, I just know it's not grizzly. And, you know, if we're talking damage-wise, a bear should absolutely destroy you as a character in seconds. If you're just, like, fisticuffing a bear. It's like, oh, we'll carry guns. I'm like, right, but that means where if I don't want to use guns all the time, I'm now stuck using guns because bears are a thing. I was under the impression there's a difference between grizzly and brown bears. But yeah, and that said, it could be they implement in a way that feels perfectly fine, but it's like the predator animals I'm concerned about, and then the NPCs. Because like the NPCs, you know, of course there's going to be friendly, neutral, and hostile NPCs is my understanding. And if I go into a house and some NPC is just blasting away at me with, you know, a rifle or something, I'm not going to be having a good time. Because that once again, it's like, okay, so your choice is guns. That's the reality is guns. And I'm fine with the guns in the game and all that, but I wouldn't like the game to force me to play in a certain way. Like, that's one of my big praises of the game, is you can play the game in so many different ways. But I do worry those are two things that could force, like, a narrower amount of way of playing the game. True. Herman Gorilla says, NPCs will get overrun by Zeds, though, when they, from gunfire. And I could see that. Like, I could see all sorts of ways. Oh, cool. You're saying that grizzlies and brown bears are the same things. Interesting. Alright. I thought they were two different things. Demon Size says, I've yet to fire a gun. I'm scared to see how much attention they draw when I do. They're not as bad now as they used to be. When the multiplayer patch dropped, they massively reduced the sound radius for guns. Because, like, the sawed-off shotgun was absolutely absurdly large radius that would cover. It was the loudest thing in the game. But if you're just mindful of where you're firing your guns, it's not a bad idea to use guns. It's just you have to be aware of your surroundings. If you're in the middle of, like, downtown any of the towns and you fire off a gun and you haven't been clearing a lot, you just need to accept you're going to have zombies on all sides of you. Now, that said, if you've been clearing, that you've got an area of town that's been very clear for a while, and you're moving into an area of town that's not clear, but you're kind of on that fence between where you have and haven't cleared, you know most of the zombies are going to come from in front of you. It's also while you have, you're using the guns, it's kind of the head on a swivel thing. What if you run into the bear from open season? I do not remember the bear from open season. Heli event is a good time for a noob to try them. There's so many zombies anyways, Dunmar. Yep, I also agree with that. That one of the times that I like to break out guns normally is during helicopter events, because the negative guns is they make a lot of noises that draws the zombie to you. But when you have a helicopter hovering over your head drawing all the zombies to you, it kind of makes the negative a moot point, because the zombies are already all over the place. Guns are also great when you're trying to, like, deliberately clear all the zombies from the area. You can be strategic in using the guns to kind of draw the zombies out to you. Ah, so I got you. Okay, that makes sense. That would be why I probably had that misunderstanding. Now, I mean, it's still your... Yeah, so it's brown bear isn't a specific kind of bear. It's just a bear that happens to be brown. And that, there's a whole bunch of bears under that. That makes sense. I thought brown bears were, like, a very specific species of bear. I don't know, like, I know as far as, like, muscle density, bears are absolutely absurd. And that kind of thing, like, of, like, apex predators, bears are freaking terrifying. But as far as, like, specifics about bears, I actually am not well informed. Because while technically there are bears in Florida, they're so, like, they're only in certain parts of Florida, nowhere around where I'm at, that just, I have no direct knowledge of bears because it's not been relevant. Like, the stuff I worry about around me is stuff like, water moccasins, alligators, stuff like that. Have I ever seen a shaved bear? It's definitely a sight to see. Quick Google search will make it haunted. Yeah, I've seen pictures of shaved bears and shaved raccoons, like, when they're going to do, like, check their skin for certain stuff, when they're being treated at vets and all that, and just like, what? Rual search. What is your favorite zombie movies of all time? So, I've mentioned before, like, when it comes to me, I'm not actually a big fan of, like, the legitimate, like, horror zombie movies. I've just never been a fan of horror. Not in the, oh no, it makes me scared. It's just the tropes to me get annoying. Versus, like, psychological horror, I'm all on board with. But, I like a lot of the comic ones. So, like, Shaun of the Dead is really good. Zombieland is really good. I very much enjoyed those. But those are the kind of zombie movies that I'm into. Like the legit, like zombies are scary, everyone run and hide, those kind of ones. I'm like, it's fine. Like people enjoy them, awesome. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with horror movies, they're just not my jam. That goes for like almost all of those kind of horror movies, like Saw and all those. I'm like, whatever. Like horror movies where there's the big monster that's skulking around that everyone's trying to hide from, that's killing everyone. Again, whatever. Like Jurassic Park as well as ones I've gone back and forth with, because in some ways I like it because the whole dinosaur and that part's interesting, but then you get to like, they get out and it gets kind of almost horror-esque in the sense that everyone's trying to run and hide from all these dinosaurs and all that. That's sort of like, I get it. I haven't seen World War Z. What do I about think? Alright, let me go ahead and play catch-up. Let's see. They, like gorillas and alligators, just literally built to destroy. They are like gorillas. Yeah, I mean, they're apex predators. Like, they're just... I mean, gorillas aren't an apex predator, they're just an animal. Like, they eat lots of vegetation, but... Yeah, almost all your apex predators are usually built like a tank. Let's see. Demon Scythe. Let's see. What about the one picture of Soaking Wet Quality? I don't know if I've seen that one. I am sure that's gotta be upsetting. Because, like, if you've seen, like, a cat that's, like, one of the fluffy cats that gets super soaking wet, it's, like, super sad looking. What about The Walking Dead? Walking Dead is fine. Like, I haven't seen much of it. Like, I never got into it on the same thing. Like, I've seen a few episodes and I enjoyed what I saw. But, like, I never really got into it on a real level. Kid is saying, yeah. That bastard looks scary as hell. Oh, the wet claw. Wait, maybe I did see the picture of the wet claw. I think, like, I can kind of picture it in my head. Kit says, I like paranormal movies. I don't care much for the gore horror movies. Yeah, the gore horror movies to me are the least interesting. It's like, okay, your entire shtick here is you're just going to basically make this as gory as you can possibly make it, and that's the movie. We're gonna go to the boot camp and rest because I'm probably gonna have to clear up a few good packs here. We're already drowsy, so let's go do the safe bet, hit the boot camp, sleep for the night, come back down, get back to clearing. And again, it's totally cool for people who are in that. One of the reasons they make movies of all sorts of different genres and makes is because there's people with different taste. And if people didn't have different taste, all our movies would be the exact same. And there's also movies that's like I've liked, but then, you know, have been overdone. I commented the last time that I'm a little over superhero movies at this point because there's just so many. And that's primarily because of Marvel and DC just using the same characters again and again and again, and just like the Marvel Cinematic Universe it's like, okay, so I gotta watch like 20 movies just to have context to what's happening in this movie? I'm sorry, I'm out. Like you feel like you have to watch them all. Or they do the same thing where they like reboot the same hero again and again and again and again. You're like, look, man, there are other heroes. Come up with some new content. I don't need to see the 25th version of Batman, please. You've got an entire range of heroes that you're just not touching. Oh, I'm sure there is a new Batman. It's every like 3, 4, 5 years, there is a new Batman. Every like 5, 10 years, there's a new Superman or a new Wonder Woman. And don't get me wrong, Marvel has done the same thing in the past, but they have been doubling down on this like Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything is part of this universe. Now, granted, they've done, well, no, it's the multiverse. They can kind of reboot stuff without rebooting it. It's just the alternate universe, and you're going, look, I don't need another Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a cool superhero. I've enjoyed a lot of Spider-Man content, but I'd really like someone else. just for something different. And if you're all about the Spider-Man, cool. Like, don't let me ruin it for you. I just wish they had more breadth of their content. Tremors was excellent. I very much enjoyed Tremors. Even though like each version of Tremors that came out, it got more and more and more cliche. And I but it was like they leaned into the cliche. Like they were cliche, they knew they were cliche, and they're like, no, we're doubling down on this cliche. It's like Army of Darkness.